I always thought Detective Jowd was the one who saved me. You were very young then. And you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you wouldn't remember. That's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. Why had you never heard of it, Lynn? It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I avoided the news and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it. The meteorite was named Temzik after the name of this park that it fell in. And then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now, an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning the park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day. And so I've taken up residence in this park and I'm trying to appeal to the people. Huh. No, you didn't, because there's not any water in here. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods. That is my mission. I see. So you're a crazy person. I'm taking you with me, Missile. Let's go to the taxidermist. So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that, but Detective Jowd, on the other hand, there's no way he didn't know about this Temzik thing. If he knew, the man died. I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? Oh. Okay. Rock of the Gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives. Like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. Or maybe it changed his memory. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decide to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd. Or he really did shoot him at like the same instant. You found the music box, Detective Jowd. Good job, Lynn. I knew you would. Once everything had been resolved, I wanted you to give him this to him. Him? You mean Inspector Cabanela, right? Don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. Detective Jowd. Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know. You just gotta rip it open. How's that knack? It's more like brute strength to me. Here you are. Oh, let me touch all over these fingerprints. You should find scorch marks on the grip. Scorch marks? When Kamala built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. A kind of magicians use. It burns up an instant and disappears. Why would little Kamala use something like that? I don't know. Maybe because she's a detective's daughter. Not leaving any evidence behind it and all that. Ha! In any case, there's more to mention is scorch marks. When it happened, Kamala was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flames run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame, too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun. In other words, It proves the contraption existed there in that room that day. And it didn't work the way the little girl intended. Is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the weapon. Or the design. The angle was never brought up in court. And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd. Now we can finally prove that. Thank goodness. And not Sissel. Thank you, Lynn. Those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago. Yeah, let's talk to you. What's the matter? I just don't know. What should I have done 5 years ago? Back then, nobody had any way of knowing the true nature of the manipulator. It wasn't anybody's fault that we didn't know the truth. Do you really think so? Of course. Besides, what's important right now is deciding what to do next, am I right? He's right, Minister. Yes, of course. I do believe she is. When is it now? I just don't know. What should I do next? You'll figure it out. We believe in you. Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now, without ever having known any of this. This is what I deserve. That's what I told myself these past 5 years. Things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened. Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memory. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow, I just know it. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions. In order to find the truth about us. Fair enough. Fire away. Sissel told me all about it, Detective Jowd. About the manipulator. Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister too. Arg. Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him. Ooh. Sissel, do you think that's what happened to me too? Huh? What are you talking about, Lynn? Don't tell me. You were manipulated too? Arr. There was always a part of me that just couldn't believe it. That image of me, the one who shot me. The one who shot me. And now I see the possibility of a new explanation. Who is it? And why did they do it? Well, to get you arrested. That contraption was a birthday surprise for Kamala's mother, wasn't it? That's right. Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere. No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine. Right! I knew it! See, Detective Jowd? No, I'm afraid I don't see. I'm blind, you see. I told Detective Jowd about it. Told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place. Very strange indeed. A junkyard on the edge of town? I've never even heard of the place. What's more, I've never told a single soul about the contraption. You haven't? Huh. That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Detective Jowd, you must have heard this name before. Hemzik. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago. You were there. So you found out about that, did you? I hear that meteorite saved little Lynn's life. That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynn that day. But in that case, I don't get it. That's true. Doesn't it mean you didn't steal somebody's life away? What are you talking about? Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person who killed the perpetrator in the park was you. What? But it was the meteorite. I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away. No question about it. It was entirely my fault. I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite had come. And at that point, I was already a murderer. That's not true. You were trying to save me. And I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it. Huh? On that day 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place. Another place? Yes. In the police headquarters interrogation room. The worst sort of incident. A suspect who was being questioned escaped. Wow, I didn't know about that. I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park. Hold it right there! Stop! You have violated the law! I fired a warning shot. Wanted to catch him. Bad. That warning shot made him panic. At the time, I was a young green detective, brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. You can tell because I'm wearing a green jacket. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynn. It was all my fault. Detective Jowd. All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. It was so dark. I'm sorry, Lynn. So the man who grabbed me died that day. These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. Then a few years after that, when my wife Alma died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done. I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. Then why was mine in there? And tonight, I finished my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember. The final face. The face of the man in the park that day. Wait just 1 minute. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight. It was my face. Are you telling me I was the man in the park that time? That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. The face of the man whose life I stole, of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene. But hold on, Detective Jowd. That can't be true. I just met Sissel for the first time tonight. And he died right in front of me. By the way, the name that I know the man in the park by that day by isn't Sissel. What? From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy? Maybe he had a brother? Mr. Minister! Dr. Cabanella, where are you? Just be quiet and listen. This is our demand. What? Demand? Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be tonight. Once we've confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage. What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanella? And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted. Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life. Even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. Is he being manipulated? What is it, Mr. Minister? You look paler than ever. What in the world? What is going on? Inspector Cabanela. Rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fates of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And even now, the chain continues to grow even longer. Inspector Cabanela's call proved that to us. The greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Who am I? I'm even further from knowing that when we started. Okay, so someone who looks exactly like us died 10 years ago. And it might have been us, but it wasn't us. Because we died tonight. Maybe. Or probably. There's meteorites that are giving people ghost powers. My theory is that Sissel apparently has a twin brother who died that time, and he's the manipulator, and he's trying to get revenge on the two people that caused his death, or at least as far as he's concerned. He's going after the detective, and he wanted to get Lynn arrested too for the murder, and for some reason was really upset with his brother.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
Thank you all for watching. You're welcome to come see me record these episodes live at twitch.tv/SuperBunnyBun. You can also come say hi on Twitter at SuperBunnyBun. But most importantly, I'd really appreciate it if you could like yourself, comment about how awesome you are, and subscribe to Happy Thoughts. And until next time, stay spicy and huggable. Bye!